What's going on, everybody? Gentleman94 here. Welcome back to Ben Builds. This is episode number 3 for the Spiffy Tiffy buddy build. And today, guys, I'm going to start putting some paint on our cockpit. Now, last episode, we went ahead and took all the PE parts and glued them into the sidewalls, finished up the actual cockpit itself, and today we're going to be painting. Now I'm going to use some flat black here by Tamiya, and we're going to go ahead and coat the entire area with black. Now I can use this X20 thinner if I'd like to, or we can use isopropyl alcohol. Both work well for Tamiya. We also have this silver color here, and I have some Tamiya floating around that we're going to use for the framing of the cockpit itself. I think overall it's going to be a pretty cool looking cockpit. So bit by bit, step by step, today should be a fun episode because we're going to get some paint, get this thing ready to go. So first thing, I'm going to stick down some tape. I'm just using this frog tape here. It's for painting, but it'll work for this application. And I'm going to stick all of my parts down to it. This is so they don't fly away when I start hitting them with the airbrush. And we have our side consoles here. We have our cockpit itself. And we have our chair that I want to go ahead and paint as well. Now I'm going to shoot the whole thing with black, so it should come out really sharp. This is our instrument panel. We doctored up last time. I have to paint the side consoles. I'm going to use a gloss black for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and also bring out the fuselage side to get these painted as well. Everything's got to be flat black. So I've been mixing and painting here off camera, and so far this is turning out decently. It's very plain right now, very monotone, but that's okay because we're going to come back, we're going to start dry brushing some stuff, we're going to weather it down. I think it's going to look really sharp when we're finished. Okay, so I've had everything painted, everything is dry as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and come back in now with the silver, and we're going to paint the actual railings here, and we're going to just start right here on the corner. There we are. This is actually really tedious. I guess I could have done the opposite, painted it all silver and then came back in with a brush and painted the black, but I don't like airbrushing with the silver color because there's little flecks of thicker pigment. You know, it sometimes can clog the airbrush, and you know, it's fine. Hand brushing, it's kind of a lost art. I don't mind every once in a while doing some hand brushing, so this should look pretty good, I think, when we're finished up with it. And all of the side railings, we're going to do all of those. We're going to do all of the support structures. And we're going to end up dry brushing some silver on there as well. Okay, so we've pretty much gotten everything squared away. As you can see, I have some dry brushing that I've done here. And here's the seat that I've also worked on. As you can see, I've done a little bit of dry brushing on that as well. And the seat just fits right back here on the back of the headrest. Right about there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So you can see, yeah, it looks decent. Did some dry brushing there on the seat as well to give it a little bit of worn look. I think it looks decent, you know. We have also to put these on here. These are the second part of the seat belt. So we'll do those off camera. And also the headrest here, dry brush that. And you can see this little line right below it there. That's actually for the seat belt to fit through and comes out the back. I don't know if it really did that in real life, but that's what the instructions show, so we might have to do that. Here is the instrument panel. We have the side consoles painted gloss black. I'm going to tone it down a bit with a flat, but I think that's a decent match for the actual instrument panel itself. Remember, I cut off the old parts. I'm going to go ahead and assemble all this off camera, and I'll show you what I have when we get back. All right, here we are. This is the finished cockpit. Threw everything together, stuck the other seatbelt on there, and as you can see, yeah, I think this looks the business. I think this looks nice and looks, you know, decently weathered. It's not overly weathered, but I think it's got a good look to it. And we've also had a chance to glue these, I guess, inserts on, as you can see here. This is a little rough part right here because right here there's a step. And there's a step along the bottom end as well, right along the side. And there's also a step down here in the back. And I tried to line this up to the fuselage. Same thing with this one here. This is a little easier to do because it comes in two parts. When you put them together, you can see there's a gap. And there's a substantial gap as well. Now, dry fitting the cockpit up inside is difficult because, yeah, there's even a larger gap now. So I'm going to need to probably do a little bit of filing, a little bit of sanding get this thing to line up correctly. But I think once I get this thing dialed in and lined up, I think it's going to be really, really cool. The spacing is all wonky inside, so I'm going to have to go back in there and see where it's rubbing, where it's touching, where it's holding it back, and we're going to have to get this thing lined up. So I'm not going to mount the fuselage together today. I'm going to go ahead and let it dry, let everything cure. Then we'll come back in probably next episode, and we will glue in the cockpit, we'll glue in the front oil cooler, and we'll get the fuselage buttoned up. That gap there on the top, though, that's going to be a little bit of a troubled area. I'm thinking I might put some styrene strips in there to go ahead and round it out, but we're going to have to see how that works. I tried getting the fuselage joint to be as smooth and as clear as possible. We might have to go ahead and go back in there and remove some panel lines, but overall, I think the cockpit looks great. I think it looks the part. We're going to call it here. It's a shorter episode today, guys, but again, I really wanted to get that cockpit painted and get it ready for installation. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Come on back next time when we get the fuselage all buttoned up, and we'll move on from there. Until then, happy modeling, and we'll see you soon.